Hi guys, Sherlock's Apprentice here, aka Mike. It's been a long time since my last video. As life been very busy last 18 months, but now starting to get back onto some research and some new projects, which is interesting. This little series I'm doing is I'm calling my Bible Decode. Um, and it's some interesting things that I found in the Bible, and been doing a lot of research, and see if you guys think it's interesting also. So the first one I'm doing, my Bible decode, is who is Yahweh? First disclaimer, it is very important that I state from the beginning that I am no biblical scholar, and for the information I am about to present in this series of presentations is just my observations and hypothesis. In no way am I trying to question anyone's beliefs or faiths in the scriptures or any of the religions. I know there are countless biblical scholars who know the history and Bible far better than I ever could. I'm just pointing out findings that I thought were interesting and maybe show possible alternative translations and meanings to the scriptures. I was brought up a Roman Catholic, and as a Christian, I truly believe in the Almighty Creator. Although no longer seeing myself as a Roman Catholic, my connection with the Almighty has never been stronger than it is now, since discovering the truth of where we live. Since then, I have tried to discover who is really running and controlling this world, and to do that, I found myself going back to the Bible. I believe this world is controlled by an evil, the devil and his demons, which has grown and infiltrated all areas of society. They control every country in the world via banking, military, governments, media, medicine, entertainment, sports, arts, and music, and all the religions. Yeah. So Christianity, you have the infiltration through Jesuits and the Roman Catholics, Judaism, the Zionists, Muslim extremist Islamic groups, and society groups, secret societies like Freemasons, Skull and Bones, Rosicrucians, etc. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. I've looked at so many areas where I can show where the devil has shown himself through history, but I found myself going further and further back in history. So let's go back to the very beginning, back to the Bible. I think the Bible is maybe the biggest deception of them all. My investigation into the Bible really began from my YouTube presentation into Lucifer and how the name was created. Having seen the translations of the Bible from different languages can be used to create narratives, I decided to study the original Hebrew and great text more deeply. Also, there are so many contradictions in the Bible that really do not make sense, which leads me to believe in even more deception. So let's begin comparing Genesis 1 and Genesis 2. I believe that Genesis 1 and Genesis 2 are written by two separate people or even organizations. In the Book of Jubilees, also called Little Genesis, we are to believe that Moses was given the knowledge of creation from God himself while on Mount Sinai. So here is Genesis 1 from Bible Hub. I'm not going to obviously read it, but there are many differences in the writings of the first two chapters of Genesis, but you have to study the original codex to see it. I have used the Westminster Leningrad Codex. Here's Genesis 2. So let's get a pointer going. Let's try a laser pointer. So here, Leningrad Codex, Genesis 1, and from the Bible Hub, Genesis 1, 1 to 6. It's not easy to see, but I've gone through and tried to show where the chapters are separated in the codex. And if we look at the parallel Hebrew from Bible Hub, you'll see each time there is a pay, I think is the Hebrew letter, meaning an end of a punctuation. And if we go back each time there is this pay. Here it is at the end of 5. Okay. So each time there is a line break in the codex, there is this pay. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in Genesis 1. But the interesting thing is when you see here on the second page of the Lenegrid Codex, Genesis 1 finishes here. There is a paragraph break, but not a large break like it would be in a new chapter. And so from Genesis 1 to 3 is this regarding the seventh day. And I don't understand why this is just not part of Genesis 1. So there's Genesis 1, you have these breaks, okay? First day, second day, it's quite broken up quite literally. And then this would make sense to be this continue fifth day, I think sixth day, and then this would be the seventh day. And Genesis 2, for me, we should start here. There's another reason why. If you look here in the Hebrew, there is another pay on 1 to 3. And then it's Genesis 2 seems to be written in a slightly different format. There is no longer this pay as a punctuation. And there is the introduction of Yahweh. Here it is. Yahweh Elohim. Yahweh Elohim. Yahweh Elohim. We go back to Genesis 1, where there is Elohim, is Elohim, meaning gods, plural. There is no Yahweh. There is no Yahweh in Genesis 1. So this, to me, shows Genesis 1 and Genesis 2 are written at different times by different people, different stories. There is the suggestion that Genesis, they are two separate creations. I don't know. That is just an opinion I've heard, and I think it's very plausible. So who is Yahweh? What is the meaning of the name? So going to Bible Hub and the Strong's Concordance, yeah, Yod Hey Vod Hey, Vav Hey, I should say, for the 4 letters, the Tetragrammaton, is the proper name of the God of Israel, and from Hava, so Yah Hava. As you can see here on the right, it only started in Genesis 2:4. So then it was then continue through the Bible. So Yah is the name of God of Israel, also means Lord. So Strong's 3050, you see there. And here's the Hava that it said it came from, 1933b. So it means 1933 has got different meanings. But 1933b means to become. So Yahweh comes from the word origin Hava, Strong's 1933b, to become or exists. With Yah meaning Lord of, so the translation meaning Lord of who is to become or exists. But if we look at 1933a and 1933, which are before this, we see it's not Hava with a H, with a hey, I should say. But it's interesting that it means to fall. And we know who the fallen one was. But this is Hey Vod Aleph. It's not hey, vod, vav, hey. Okay, so there's something not quite right here. So Strong's 1933 means to fall, but this is hava, not hava with a hey. So I found where hava, hey, hey, vav, hey, 1942, not 1942 Strong's, and the meaning, desire, chasm, destruction, or another meaning, a ruin or disaster, 1943. These are obviously concerning. So, hava means ruin, mischief, disaster, and desire, chasm, and destruction. So, Yahava, I think, really means Lord of mischief or Lord of destruction, not Lord of who is to become. That not 1933b. Why is it added as a B? That's another deception, I think. So, upon investigating the history of Yahweh, I quickly realized what a can of worms, or a jar of flies, I should say, I had opened. The history of the Canaanite gods of Yahweh, Baal, and Asherah are extremely interesting. But who are these gods really? Yahweh was a storm god, not a creation deity. Yahweh became the God of the Israelites, and later it was also forbidden to say his name. It's interesting. I thought of Harry Potter reference. Yeah, he who shall not be named. Why? So I believe there are many places in the Bible where translations are used to mislead the truth. I think that Yahweh is not who we think he is. I think he is pretending to be the Almighty Creator when really he is the devil himself. When a deity needs admiration from man and calling himself Lord or Master, then I don't feel he is the Almighty Father. Pride is one of the deadly sins, and I didn't think the Creator ever sinned. I'll be going through other stories in the Bible that lead and support my thinking on this crazy idea. My next investigation will be Moses and the Exodus from Egypt. But just going back to this Yahweh, I found other people on the internet actually coming to a similar conclusion I did regarding the makeup of his name. So that's for it this time, guys. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.